Hello, my friends. So it seems as though Amber is just going to stick with live streaming, at least for now. And like I said before, I don't blame her. You know, if you can make more money doing less work, I mean, why not? But of course, she will never admit that that's why she's doing it. Let's just see what she has to say. The title is Things Are About to Change. And of course, one of the things that Amber is known for is making big changes in her life. So we'll just see what she has to say. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not gonna lie.
Should I just say that what Aunt Tammy did to you and your mother is uncalled for? There's no reason for her to be smearing your family's information across the internet, immature. All right. So obviously we're going to be talking a bit about that.
I hate this. I hate how smug she looks. I don't think she has learned anything from all of the drama that has just happened with Emily and her aunt. It should have humbled her maybe a little bit, but no, she will never learn anything from any situation. She will double down, triple down, and she will just emerge worse than before.
Hmm. Okay. So first of all, I just want to say, like, genuinely, it's like pretty obvious that my aunt has had a problem with my dad's side of the family, the Reeds, as she calls it. Um, since even before I was born, and she's, like, genuinely taking it all out on me because I went back and I wa
And your aunt may or may not hate your dad's side of the family. That doesn't mean that you did nothing wrong. Amber likes to say, oh, she's taking it out on me, as though she is completely innocent, that she's never done anything to warrant Tammy talking about her like this.
watched the phone call that we had together. I was so clearly disassociative, like, I'm literally rocking, like, that's just a way for me to cope, self-soothe, etcetera, etcetera. Like, the whole thing was
Okay, she is going to say disassociate, cope, self soothe, trigger, all the buzzwords that she knows for her many, many disorders that she claims to have. But she is having a normal human reaction to something that happened to her. And now this is just my opinion, but I don't think she has been triggered or having trauma responses or coping or anything like that. She has just been angry. She has just been sad. She has been overwhelmed. That is something that would happen to anybody in her situation. Every single scenario she finds herself in, she will try to make it seem like she is the victim and also going through some amazing, really unique, special trauma. Your aunt just spilled a bunch of tea on you. Of course, you're upset. But she will go on and on for a while about how she's disassociating and being triggered and self soothing. So I'm going to skip most of that.
she told you why she was upset with you, though. Madison, nothing she said made sense, love. It was very much, "You
Nothing she said made sense, love. God, the smug level should be illegal.
haven't contacted me in the last 2 years since you've been in Oklahoma," and I showed receipts where I clearly did. Um,
Well, sort of. She showed where she had sent that picture and all that stuff. But part of Amber's story was that she tried to spend time with Tammy, but Tammy just ignored her. Tammy just wouldn't get together. She didn't want to spend any time with me. But then Tammy showed texts where Tammy was trying to spend time with Amber, and Amber was like, no, not without my mom there.
You get here, I see you one time. I try to see you, and I'm told I can only see you with your mother. I question you about it. You say, oh, I was just nervous. I haven't seen my family in 14 years and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then you didn't reach out to me after that ever.
So Amber, of course, is going to simplify it and dumb it down to where it fits her narrative. But it's not that simple. It's not as simple as I contacted her in the last 2 years. Like, yeah, you sent her a message, but when it came to actually spending time together, Tammy tried, and you claimed that she didn't. It's manipulation, and that's what Amber is really good at, is after she's had time to think about it, she can twist things and like I said, kind of dumb things down to where at first glance, when you first hear it, you're like, oh yeah, she did say that she contacted her in the last 2 years. But it was not that simple.
Ever since this has happened, my mom's mental health has, like, not only has my mom's, but also mine high. I've already told you guys about that, but, like, my mom's mental health has been, like, in the shitter. My mom was
So I can understand that, right? Her aunt and Mama Lynn's sister is on the internet just telling everybody all the tea about their family. So I don't doubt that they're all, dealing with it. I don't doubt that Mama Lynn hates all of this happening, but the last time we heard from Mama Lynn, she didn't seem to care all that much. She was just kind of like, oh yeah, that sucks. But anyway, about that groomer.
Um,
it's
I
never
don't
ending,
know.
and I'm
All
proud of
right.
you for
Well,
that.
I love you.
But I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, okay?
Hey,
Yeah?
yeah, so Google and see how far the grooming place is from your house.
So I'm sure she's not enjoying it, but I'm betting she's probably just kind of ignoring it.
And my aunt sits there, and she's just like, "I was so worried about my sister's, like, sobriety and, like, the kind of drama that Amberlynn brings." But yet it's my aunt that's, like, literally making my mom's mental health go to shit. Like, it's not
Now, okay, I can admit that that's probably a good point, honestly. If Tammy was so worried about her sister's mental health and her sister's sobriety, maybe airing out the family's dirty laundry on the internet is not the best idea. So while I absolutely think that if there is a danger to Mama Lynn's sobriety, it's most likely Amber, I also can understand that Tammy isn't helping.
um, which brings me to my grandma is now no longer speaking to my aunt. So you guys really have to focus in real quick. My aunt is disowned by her own daughter, her own mother, her own sister, her own niece. None of us speak to her. Her family literally does not want to be in her life.
And that could say something about her, but that could also say something about the family. The picture that Amber is painting is that they're all the good ones and Tammy's the bad one. But you would get the same scenario if Tammy was the good one and all the other ones were bad. So it doesn't really say much that they're not talking to her.
My grandma is in her 70s. She's going through radiation. Cancer might have spread. Like, she's going through a lot right now. And the only way for my grandma to communicate with people is through her cell phone. She doesn't have a house phone. What does my aunt do a couple days ago? She turns off my grandma's phone. My grandma is an elderly woman, and she needs to be able to call people in case she needs help for her doctor's appointments, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, my aunt is evil.
See, and if this happened, which we don't know, Amber could just be making this up, there could be a very reasonable explanation. I don't think Tammy just decided, it would be funny, just turning my mom's phone off. That didn't happen. There's probably some sort of explanation, but she will not give that.
Genuinely evil. And I also, like, I had this random thought of, like, do I want to, maybe in a separate live stream, maybe in a video, I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. I just feel like my word and my side needs to be shared because
First of all, she won't because it'll take effort and time. And it doesn't really matter. It's just going to be bullshit anyway. And again, I'm not 100% on Tammy's side. I'm definitely not on Amber's. But I would have a hard time believing anything she says.
when my when Tammy, I was gonna say my aunt, but when Tammy called me, I literally shut down completely. Like, you guys saw that. I genuinely couldn't even control it. I completely shut down. And I almost want to, like,
Wait, are you sure you couldn't control it? Because you said, I felt my body starting to fawn, and I told myself, I'm just going to say, okay. I'm just going to agree.
I'm like, okay, so it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? I immediately felt my body start to fawn. And I was telling myself, oh my God, I'm just like, no matter what she says, if it's a lie, if it's a load of shit, I'm just going to nod my head. I'm just going to agree.
So it sounds like you were controlling it. It sounds like you chose to fawn, or you just don't know what you're talking about. And you were just reacting like a normal human being who doesn't know what to say.
Maybe react to that phone call and, like, say things that I would have said if I wasn't in a state of, like, shutting down.
Yeah.
Say
Now that she's had time to think about it, time to construct a narrative and time to really get those lies going. Yeah, that makes sense.
thing that I would have said, like, if I wasn't constantly being interrupted, if I wasn't constantly being berated, if I wasn't constantly being, like, verbally attacked.
All I heard just now was, I'm a victim, 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 I'm a victim, everybody, I'm a victim.
I don't know if that's something I wanna do, but it's like, she decided to put this all online, and I kind of feel like it's only fair that I also get to speak on it.
And the funny thing is, I kept thinking the only way Amber's ever going to learn anything or ever be taught any kind of lesson is going to be publicly. Because if you do something privately, she'll just pretend like it never happened. She will not listen. She doesn't give a shit. So publicly is the only way she's ever going to learn. But it's clearly not even that. She will never learn. At no point throughout all of this drama, starting back with Beck, she's got all these people that are willing to come out and talk about her. She has never taken a second to think, why are there so many people that are willing to talk about me? Instead, it just bolsters her idea that she's a victim. And she just gets worse and worse every time. Instead of being humbled, instead of learning a lesson, instead of realizing maybe I'm doing something wrong, she just doubles down and gets worse.
I don't really know. Are we allowed to bring outside food in this live? Oh my god, yes. Dylan, Victoria.
Do you think she understands the reference there? We obviously know the reference was that handwritten note from the lunchroom that Amber lied about. I mean, think about the lengths that she went to just to not take her lunch to work so she could eat her yum-yums. She had this long conversation with her aunt about how I can't bring food to work. And then when Tammy, who was trying to look out for Amber, called and said, hey, can you bring lunch to work? And they're like, yeah, of course you can. And Amber was like, oh yeah, I was right next to Haley, the coworker, whenever you called. And we're laughing about that right now, that we can bring food to work. That's so silly. You know, just gaslighting. And then it all culminated in the handwritten note in the break room that Amber clearly just put there herself. So of course she's a liar. She will go to pretty extreme lengths to lie and to get her yum-yums.
I had hot Cheetos last night, and listen, never again. Like, I had hot Cheetos last night, and listen, never again.
Okay, I'm sure never again. Hot Cheetos, never again. We'll add that to the list.
Like, I used to eat hot Cheetos all of the time. My stomach is cramping. I feel sick. Like, it is literally the worst feeling. Um, it feels horrible.
Literally is getting pretty annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
And also, I'm having this weird, like, inner thigh pain, and I'm like, is blood clot finally here? So I don't really know.
Oh my God. She really is just the epitome of, I gotta figure out a way to get some sympathy. And what an interesting choice of words to say, is blood clot finally here? Almost like, I've been waiting. Like, hurry it up already. I need to tell people I've got a blood clot because that's really interesting. And there's no telling what it is. But when you hear hoofbeats, don't assume it's zebras. But that's Amberlynn, man. Everything is a zebra to her.
Because as you guys know, my D dimer was high. It was elevated. But yeah, I'm having this like weird.
Is she still talking about the D-dimer from like months ago? Yeah, this is back from May 12th of 2025. So a few months ago.
And it says that I have an elevated D-dimer. And thankfully I noticed that before I actually left the hospital. So I asked the nurse, like, what does this mean? And she was like, oh, it just means like you could possibly have a blood clot. That's why we checked your lungs, but you don't have one.
That happened right after she had cellulitis, which was obviously the cause of the D-dimer being raised, because that's a common thing when you've had an infection, is to have a high D-dimer. And then she just assumed it was a blood clot. That was a whole thing, man. She basically called her doctor stupid for not assuming it was a blood clot and for saying it could have been the infection. She basically said, my doctor was like, I don't know.
So updates about the elevated D-dimer. My doctor said it could be due to when I had cellulitis or COVID. He isn't even sure what is causing it, so he's just guessing.
God, she sucks, man. She sucks.
These are all things I'd probably talk about in a vlog, but which brings me to my next thing. I'm done with the vlogs for now. I'm done with the videos for now.
I wonder why. Could it be that they actually require a little bit of work, a little bit of effort?
I'm done filming for now. Currently in this moment, I am thinking that probably my next vlog is going to be December 1st. But you guys know me. I change my mind constantly. That's just how I roll around here. That's just how I do things.
She acts like that's sort of a feature of her channel is unpredictability, but it's just that she's lazy. She just doesn't stick to anything because she's far too lazy to actually follow through with something.
No, filming is actually a lot easier, Sarah, than live streams for me. Filming and editing, editing is kind of therapeutic. I love editing. It's so fun.
Shut up. She said filming and editing is easier than this. Easier than this. Really? Okay, I'm sure.
When do you normally go live? That also brings me to my next little thing here. So I'm going to be going live randomly. There's going to be no set schedule. It's going to be purely just, we're in my live stream era right now, okay?
Surprise, surprise. She's not going to commit to anything because why would she? And here's the thing. Why would she? She doesn't have to. She gets so much money and she gets so much attention. She just clicks go live, answers some questions about herself, and she makes all the money she could ever want. So why would she do anything that, requires any work? She is being rewarded for being the most smug, insufferable piece of shit on the internet. That's just what's happening now. But I guess that's normal. That's the internet, right? People tend to get rewarded for bad behavior on the internet. And she is a great example of that.
So it's not commitment issues, it's indecisive issues.
Oh, shut up.
So
She said it's not commitment issues, it's indecisive issues. And what she's trying to say there is like, I just have so many ideas. I have so many thoughts and it's hard for me to decide on one. So I'm just gonna, do it random. No, it's not that you're thinking too much. Your only thought is how can I do as little work as humanly possible? And that's the way it's always been.
people love the live streams. Like that's obvious. I get more views on live streams. You guys, your attention span is longer. Um, so
And a lot of the people that are giving her all this money are people who are like trolls. Stop giving her money. Stop giving her the attention that she wants. You have to be a member to talk in her chat. And there are so many people in there talking about how fat she is and how stupid she is. You're not helping. You're giving her more money. You are rewarding her. It's really frustrating to see her get rewarded for her bad behavior by the people that are trying to call out her bad behavior.
paparazzi at bingo is so iconic. I know. I want to see it. Like, is it real?
Yeah, somebody got some pictures of Amber at bingo. From what we can tell, she's just looking at her phone and she is looking pretty big. I mean, she's looking big here, but she's almost the same width as the like Wheel of Fortune wheel thing behind her. Ugh, it's not a great look.
Can you tell us what you ate today? I have so much like anxiety about like this thigh pain and my stomach hurts so bad, like cramps to the extrematory.
Is she about to say she hasn't eaten anything today? Also, cramps to the extrematory.
Cramps to the extrematory.
Oh my God. She says some of the stupidest shit. I guarantee it.
Food is not in my radar. Like I feel so
Food is not in her radar, she says. Bullshit. I just don't believe that for a second. I think her radar is just for food. That's all her radar even recognizes is food.
go to the ER. Oh, that's cute. Why? Don't scare me. Please do not scare me. I already have the anxiety. Please don't.
I already have anxiety. Shut up. It's so annoying. If it's something you can make a joke about by calling it anxiety, it must not cause too much anxiety, but God, that's so annoying. But again, she's so interesting. Just a normal feeling to her is a disorder.
So it's really weird as hell. Like, why would someone invade your privacy like that? I don't know. They're gonna say like, oh, you're a public figure, so we're allowed to take pictures of you, which is very true. Um, it's not in my calf, it's in my thigh.
I love how she says, and they would just say, I'm a public figure, which is true. Like, you guys, I'm definitely a public figure. Did you know that? I'm a public figure. Almost like that's a stand-in for celebrity. And even if you weren't a public figure, you're in public. When you're in public, technically and legally, you don't have an expectation of privacy. So people can take pictures of you and whatever.
So I might go to the hospital tomorrow. I don't know.
She'll not go to the doctor. She probably should, honestly. She should probably go to the doctor pretty regularly at her size. But I doubt she will.
A live weigh-in? I mean, if you guys want to send me like $500, sure. Oh my God, listen. The goals type thing, can you set a goal on here? I don't even know. You're high. I'm actually not today.
I would actually not be surprised at all if she was high. But that's an interesting thing to say. Send me $500 for a weigh-in. So clearly money is on her mind. And that's obviously why she's live streaming. She has made a shitload of money over the last month or so by doing her crash outs online. And just think about that, man. Think about being the type of person to do the lives that she has done. Like, we can go watch them now. She's not taking them down. And how embarrassing those are.
I sent a Snapchat of my body because I know she likes it. All while she's talking to Snowflake. What kind of weird, f***ing warped relationship was I in? And I just kept allowing it. It feels so crazy to me.
I find it interesting that the warped, weird relationship she was in was because Emily talked to Snowflake, not all the other stuff. I don't care how much money she makes. I would not want her life.
Just kidding. But yeah,
Did you see that?
just kidding.
All right. Now, she could have just been looking at her cats. But look how quickly she looks back, almost like, oh, I'm not supposed to be looking over there.
Just kidding. But yeah, that's what a lot of live streamers do. That's why TikTok, that's why YouTube, they set up the thing to where you can have.
And then she's got the grin. In one of her last live streams, she asked a question and looked over at something or somebody.
The what's it called?
And she may be doing that just to troll us, just to bait us, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was there. Maybe Emily.
You should use a cooler tone eyebrow pencil. No hate. I actually really love my eyebrows today. It matches my hair color. Thank you.
That is the narcissist in her, where she is not able to take any criticism. And here's the thing, I don't know anything about eyebrows, but they do look a little weird. I don't know why, but they just kind of look weird. And I understand they said this, unsolicited, but they just said, hey, use a cooler tone on your eyebrows, whatever. And she could have just not read that. She could have just said, thank you. I'll keep that in mind. But no, she had to pretend like she's really confident, because what actually happened there, I'm guessing, is that hurt her feelings. Somebody said something about her appearance and she doesn't like that. And so then she has to then front that she is actually very confident. Actually, you know what? I really like my eyebrows. When inside she's going, oh man, they don't like my eyebrows. Ugh, that hurts. That is that facade that she's putting up, that confident facade. Confacade, if you will.
Wait, what? My entry in the pool is Rosie betrays you, 10/11/25. So you think on October 11th, 2025, Rosie is going to betray me? I think so, because I know things that she doesn't want the YouTubes to know. So it's like, if she betrays me, it's like, why would you betray someone who knows like private stuff? Why would you betray a friend? I don't understand like the way.
First of all, that never matters. People, especially on the internet, betray each other constantly. Betray, right? But again, she has to act like the big tough person. Instead of just saying, I don't know what you're talking about, or, okay, that's weird. She has to say, oh yeah, well, I know things about her. Because I'm guessing she probably is a little afraid of Rosie betraying her or whatever. So she has to make sure she gets that out. If Rosie betrays me, I know stuff about her too. But again, it's that tough person facade that nothing hurts my feelings, nothing gets to me because I'm so confident and I know so much and I'm so smart. But we know that's not true.
Sent you an IG message of bingo paparazzi, bitch. I am there. Hold on.
Does she think she's 16 years old? Because she sure sounds like she thinks she's 16 years old. But the funny thing is, too, Because she's so lazy and has never actually taken time to learn how to properly live stream, you know, where it's interesting and entertaining, she will not show the picture. She will just look at it and tell us what she thinks, I'm guessing.
Send me the TikTok. I want to see. Oh my god, I want to see this. Excited.
She does think she's 16. Did you see her bouncing up and down like a little kid?
Oh my god, I love you, paparazzi. I'm so special and unique.
For somebody who gets recognized every time they leave the house,
I get recognized every single time I leave this apartment.
she seems awfully surprised that somebody recognized her outside her house. She seems awfully excited to finally be recognized and have a picture taken of her. And actually, I'm sorry, it's recognized.
Recognized. I was recognized last night. Recognized a lot. Recognized a lot. I get recognized.
Paparazzi more. I don't give a Maddie, thank you for the super chat.
Of course she doesn't. She loves this. She wants to be a celebrity. She thinks that she should be a celebrity. She is at best a micro celebrity. She's a niche person in a niche category of a niche corner of the internet. People who watch YouTube regularly are already a niche part of society. So just being on YouTube, you're a niche portion of the population. And then inside that is people who watch drama content. That's another niche. So you're getting smaller. And then inside that are the people that watch stuff like lolcows and reaction channels and things like that. So it's like 3 levels deep into niche territory. So of course people in Oklahoma City are not going to recognize her every time she walks out the door.
Hey girlie, I hope you're having a good day. Mari, hello. I'm okay. I have a little anxiety, health anxiety, if you will. But
Please feel sympathy for me. I have a little health anxiety because my thigh hurts. So yeah, she's got to like plant the seeds of, yeah, she's got this health anxiety so that somebody will ask, what health anxiety? Oh, haven't you heard? I might have a blood clot. In fact, I am flatlining right now. Turns out it's really scary. I might go to the hospital tomorrow because my heart has stopped, you know? Shut up.
hell yeah, bitches! Look at me! I'm out in the wild, bro. I'm out in the wild.
Again, she was looking at a picture of herself that was taken at bingo. This is a person who claims she gets recognized literally every time she leaves the house. And she wonders why nobody believes her when she talks, you know? And it's a little bit weird that she can see those pictures and be so excited and proud of them because she is, quote unquote, in the wild.
Look at me! I'm out in the wild, bro. I'm out in the wild.
That's concerning.
I am genuinely okay. I'm trying to figure out. So there's a glass. So that means this person was in the non-smoking section because I sit in the smoking section because my mom smokes.
Don't forget, her mom smokes, you guys. Don't forget that. Nobody ever forget that her mom smokes, okay?
And I walked right past them to go to the bathroom, and I remember them staring at me. Okay, this is why did you get a picture of me walking, girl? Because you don't want them to see how mobile I really am?
I don't know that I'd call it mobile. I mean, you can waddle places. I wouldn't be super proud of the way you walk.
Oh my god. I actually live for this. I'm not gonna lie about it. I look
Yeah.
kind of cute too.
Because it is the one time, probably this year, that she got recognized in public. Other than the guy at Walmart who was a troll. So, yeah, of course you're living for it. This doesn't happen very often for you.
I'm wearing the same earrings as I'm wearing today. Yeah, I don't care about stuff like that. Like genuinely, I don't. It's just like, come say hi. Don't be so scared. You know. Anyway,
Yeah, because come say hi, because nobody ever does. So it would be nice to have somebody actually come and say hi.
why can't you film vlogs and lives? I just don't want to open people up to my life like that right now. I just don't feel like very comfortable with it.
So first of all, you realize when you do a vlog, you edit it. It's not like somebody else is filming your life and posting it online. You have control over what you show in a vlog. So her excuse of, I don't want to open up my life like that is a stupid one because all you're going to be doing is opening up however much you want to open up. Which, I mean, we know the reason she doesn't want to do vlogs is she's lazy, but It also begs the question, why are you not comfortable with it? Either she's saying that to try to bait everybody into thinking somebody's there, or somebody's there.
It's my 18th birthday. Any advice for college? Happy birthday. Any advice for college? Have fun, but also do your work because you definitely don't want to be paying all that money for no reason. Because I know for me, like when I went to college, I made sure
She didn't finish college, by the way. She went for, I think, like a year, from what I understand. But she talks about college like she's part of the Ivy League alumni, you know, when I was in college. Like, you maybe showed up to a class or two, I'm guessing. That's about it.
to get straight A's. I made sure that was all I focused on. If I can do it, you can do it. But have fun too. Like live that college experience.
If he can do what? You didn't do anything. You didn't finish college. And I had to check with my buddy Jawbone. If you have not seen Jawbone's videos, please check them out. They are amazing. And he has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Amberlynn. He just knows a lot of her lore and stuff. So I checked with Jawbone, and he reminded me that she went to school for something, maybe teaching, something like that. And according to Amber, the like headmaster of the school, of course, because she's a narcissist, so it has to be, you know, some special person at the school, told her that because of her history with her parents being criminals and things like that, that she would do great at criminal justice.
I was going to college to be a teacher. The head honcho or whatever, just kept beating it into my head. Because of your past and because of everything you've been through, you'd be so good at criminal justice, da da da. Long story short, he made me believe that I was some hotshot, that criminal justice was for me. It wasn't. Fuck that shit. I am not into criminal justice at all. So that is why I did not finish college, and I am very proud of that decision.
She has no advice to give when it comes to college. And I'm sure that question was a troll, and it worked because that was such a stupid answer.
Please be so for real, girl. LMAO, you went for 1 semester. No, I went longer than that. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did you
Not much longer than that. I think she might have gone to 2 semesters and probably didn't finish the second one. And that's why she's not giving any specifics. She just says, I went longer than that. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess a day more than a semester is longer than that, but she did not finish school. We'll just keep it at that.
win bingo? I did. I won 600. Hannah, hello, hello. Welcome.
She said she won 600 at bingo. I would love to know if the person that was there taking the picture, and actually it turns out it was a video. It was on TikTok. I kept saying picture, but then I just realized it's a video. But I would just love to know if they saw how much she won, or if they stayed long enough to see her win, because that would be so funny if it turns out she didn't win anything and she's just saying that. I wouldn't be surprised.
How long did you go then? Like 14 months, I would say.
Of course, she says 14 months because that makes it sound like a long time. But I would bet money she is basically saying, I started at this point and 14 months later, I quit. So she went for a year, basically. And I think she's probably exaggerating. I think it was probably less than that.
I majored in criminal justice. Seal boy, I'm convinced you're 13 years old, and if so, get the out of my chat.
All right. So I think the comment that she got so mad about with Seal Boy was, you won at BINGE. And I kind of like that. That's funny.
How'd you grow your hair out? I don't know. I will tell you.
Didn't cut it. She doesn't put any effort into it, if that's what you're asking. So Amber, just a minute ago, mentioned that she's not going to make her mom miss work to take her to the ER. And then she says this.
But you take her away from other things. A trip to the ER consumes so much time. Catnip, how old are you? Do you have a daughter? Would you take her if she needed you? If not, you're a bitch.
See, and that's how she rationalizes taking up all of Mama Lynn's time. I'm her daughter. She wants to do this. And I am convinced that Amber's tantrums are a big reason people don't tell her no. They don't want to deal with her bullshit. And so what ends up happening is she hears them say yes, and so she thinks, well, good, they must really enjoy helping me. But it's just that it's the lesser of two evils. An ER trip can take 20 hours in America. It is wild. I went to the ER like a year ago. I was having some heart issues. Turns out I should not drink energy drinks. Go figure. But before we figured that out, I went to the ER because I was having some weird feelings in my chest. We got there, they did an EKG, realized it was a little weird, and I sat, no joke, with heart issues, with an EKG that was having some weird readings. I sat in the waiting room for 14 hours. And I assume if I collapsed, they would have come out and got me. It is not a simple ask to say, hey, can you take me to the emergency room? Especially for somebody like Amber, who that's her form of healthcare, is going to the emergency room. That's what she always does. Anytime there's any issue, she goes to the emergency room. She either waits until it gets bad enough to go to the emergency room, or she assumes that everything is some big end of the world issue, like a blood clot when she has a pain in her leg. So she goes to the emergency room because she thinks it's probably something really serious rather than just making a doctor's appointment. And you're kind of the girl who cried wolf. If you were actually having some sort of big emergency, like, sure, yeah. But to sit here with this face and then to ask your mom tomorrow to take you to the emergency room and sit for upwards of 12 to 20 hours is awfully self-centered. So at one point, somebody kind of just trolls her saying, why don't you let people talk to you for free? And it gets a rise out of her. And she ends up deciding to turn members only chat off where anybody can chat. And she tries to make a point by saying, watch how fast it goes, but then watch this.
Health issues after Bex. Oh boy, this has nothing to do with Beck love. But thank you for the money. Let them free. I should have like a other people.
It's not that fast.
But yeah, it just moves really fast. Chat too fast. Yeah. This is actually kind of slow to be honest. Usually it's
Yeah, see, it's not as fast as she expected, you know. But you have stuff like take a shower, Beck Justice, narcissist, that kind of stuff. So most of the people that are in her chat, if they weren't members, would be haters.
yeah, I don't see any reaction channels chats moving like that.
And again, I don't think I would be proud of that because most of this is people hating her, people telling her she's terrible. Most of Jordy's chats are people loving him and telling him that they're having a great time and actually like engaging in the content. So I don't think that's the W she thinks it is. Even if other reaction channels chats don't move that fast, it's because most of the people talking in their chat, even if they're not members only, are not hating them. And that says a lot about her because to her, any attention is good attention. That's why she can post these crash outs.
While I'm literally sleeping on her fucking bed, bro.
And leave them on the internet. I would be mortified if I did the Emily crash outs that she did. If I had some sort of brain fart and did one of those crash outs, the next day I would see that and go, oh crap, I got to get that off the internet. I would be so embarrassed. But she just loves the attention. She doesn't care what it makes her look like. She's happy to have it up. And that's why all this chat to her is a good thing. All the haters and everybody telling her she's fat and stupid is a good thing.
BPD girl, live for that.
You see her little duck lips. She looks at herself and goes, man, she likes what she sees. When she looks in her viewfinder, she loves what she sees. It's like Narcissus looking at his own reflection. Weird how that works.
If you feel any worse, I would suggest going to the ER just to be safe. I'm okay. I'm okay.
She's okay. She doesn't need to go to the ER. But I might go ahead and make my mom take me tomorrow just to be safe, you know? Because what else is my mom going to do? She lives to serve me. So it's fine. She loves it. It is so weird to me that this person, the person with probably the least amount of things going on in her life, period, has made a career out of just sitting there with a camera on her answering questions from people, from strangers. And basically, the only questions that she gets are questions about her. When you really start thinking about what's happening here, it is mind-boggling. What has she said? What entertainment has she provided other than just, I guess people are interested in what she has to say, but why? Why does anybody give a shit what this idiot has to say?
Oh, I'm by far from manic, I'll tell you that, Sarah. By far. Almost wish I was, because sometimes mania feels better than however I feel right now. And if you're ever truly manic, then you know. Sometimes
Oh yeah, she just starts talking about it like she's an expert. But it doesn't sound like it comes from experience. It sounds like it's just stuff that she's heard and she's kind of repeating it. And speaking of Amberlynn being manic, somebody had a great comment that she sort of dismissed.
I'm not saying you don't have BBD. BBD? I need to learn how to read. I'm not saying you don't have BPD. You do. I am bipolar. You just don't experience mania. If you do, then you are bipolar. Google it, please.
Did you hear that? They said, I'm sure you have BPD, but if you are experiencing mania, which Amber claims to do all the time, she claims to be manic sometimes. They said, if you're experiencing mania, then you are bipolar. Google it, please. Basically just calling her out right to her face. You are saying you have mania, but that is not a BPD thing. That is a bipolar thing. And Amber sort of stares at her screen for a minute and then says this.
I'm not going to argue with you. I am choosing to step away.
I wonder why. Could it be because you are full of shit? Could it be because you make this stuff up because you've just read bits and pieces of it on the internet? Because let's look. And again, I'm not a mental health professional, but this says mania can be experienced by people with certain mental conditions, most commonly bipolar, but also schizoaffective disorder and some other conditions. Can BPD cause mania? No, borderline personality disorder does not cause mania. While both BPD and bipolar disorder involve mood swings, the type and duration of mood shifts are different. So, yeah, of course Amber is choosing to step away and choosing not to argue because, again, she has been caught not knowing what she's talking about. The same with splitting.
It's called splitting. When you literally turn into someone that you're not.
She read something on the internet, thought it sounded quirky and interesting, thought it might make her seem quirky and interesting, and she just ran with it. You guys, I'm manic today. I kind of don't mind being manic. I would feel better than I do now. Somebody says, hey, you realize that's not a BPD thing. I'm just not going to argue with you. Yeah, because you're full of shit.
Sometimes feeling manic feels like happy. You don't feel like all these like horrid emotions and feelings. And trust me, I do feel them. But sometimes I have to come on live stream and I have to put a mask on. I have to do my job. I can't be like crying. Yeah, my mom hated seeing me like that. I can't be like, acting like Debbie Downer. I have to be fucking strong. Okay.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She does a lot of live streams where she's just crying and losing her mind. So that's not true. She doesn't have to be strong to do her job. And second, if she doesn't feel like doing her job, she just doesn't do it. So that is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've heard all night. Sometimes I just have to put on a mask to do my job. No, you don't. You just don't do it. Or you do it without the mask. You just come on and you act like
Emily's hurting me. The trolls are hurting me. The reaction channels are hurting me. The haters are hurting me. Everyone is hurting me. I am hurt by everyone. There it is. What do you think is the worst symptom of your BPD experience? Oh my God. Everything? I can't just choose one.
Everything. It's all so horrible. I just can't choose one. Let me think back to what I've read about BPD.
I guess feeling everything so fucking strongly that it literally just feels like just having to feel everything like with such sharp. I don't want to explain it. It's hard to explain. Like,
She's thinking back to the articles she's read about BPD or the headlines that she's read about BPD. And again, I don't necessarily doubt that she probably has some BPD, but I am not convinced she's been diagnosed. I know she says she has, but I don't think so. I think she has just read it. And I think she's convinced herself that she has it. And so all she knows about it is what she has seen on the internet, the buzzwords and stuff.
when I'm sad, I genuinely feel like I'm like dying. Like when I'm heartbroken, I genuinely feel like I'm dying. But the good part about it is like when I'm happy,
You know, another thing that could be happening that seems likely is that she is so convinced that she is unique and special and that her feelings are very special and nobody else could be feeling the same feelings I'm feeling because they're my feelings and my feelings are special and unique. So when she feels sadness, when she feels some kind of emotion, in her mind, she's like, this is really strong. This is probably the strongest emotion anybody's ever felt. Nobody can handle the emotion that I'm feeling right now because it is very special. When in reality, she's probably just feeling the same thing we all feel, but she's just immature. She's a child and she needs instant gratification. She doesn't like for people to tell her no. So while she could have some BPD, she could just not be able to handle just having regular emotions because she just never matured enough to deal with them.
But the good part about it is, like, when I'm happy, I feel, like, euphoric. Like, it's like when I'm in love, I genuinely feel like I especially my last relationship with Emily, I felt like I took a drug that was never introduced to me before. It was the most amazing feeling I've ever felt in my life. It's just everything is way more extreme. Anger is rage. The list can go on. She actually has classic BPD. Yeah, it's pretty sad actually. It's very obvious. And the people who diagnose me as a narcissist are those who like give narcissists, which narcissists they have a bad name. So do people with BPD, but narcissists have even a worse name, obviously. And the people who diagnose me as a narcissist are those who want to genuinely see me in every bad light possible. So it's easier for them to not sympathize with a narcissist versus sympathizing with someone with BPD. Trust me, I get it. Like I see
That's not really it. The reason we keep calling it out is because you just refuse to see it. It is so painfully obvious. You are a test book
Test book narcissist behavior.
And the thing is, if you would actually admit it and maybe seek help for it, I might have some sympathy. I might actually be like, you know what? At least she's trying to figure out what's going on. But it is so obvious that you're a narcissist that you refusing to even entertain the idea makes you insufferable.
trust me, I get it. Like I see through you guys. It's totally fine. Narcissistic got us here. Like I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like genuinely.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do.
Amberlynn, if you were me, would you recommend calorie counting or Weight Watchers? Like, which worked better? I haven't done Weight Watchers since 2009. I honestly feel like calorie counting because with Weight Watchers, it's so
Really? Really? This has to be a troll asking that question, right? And she's actually answering this question as though she would have any input worth listening to. Honestly, her opinion means about as much as a wet fart because she doesn't know shit about losing weight. Nothing has ever worked. Actually, she hasn't stuck with anything long enough to know whether it works or not. Whether it's Weight Watchers, calorie counting, Jenny Craig, any of those things, she has just dabbled. So how would she know if it works or not? She's really trying to give somebody advice on weight loss. She's really... This is so stupid.
easy to like overeat because there's so many 0 calorie options. Or 0 calorie, 0 point options. So I would go with counting calories for sure.
She's okay, and then she's... And then she said on Weight Watchers... And then she said on Weight Watchers, it's so easy to overeat because there are so many 0 point options. She ate over her points she ate over her points by like 1,000 every week. Yeah, it was the zero. Yeah, it was the 0 point options. That was your problem for sure. You were eating way too many of the zero. Oh man. I don't think the 0 point options were your problem, Amber. It's so stupid.
The only illness you have is laziness. I'm by far from lazy, but thank you for the super chat.
What? Did she just say she's... First of all, she said by far from lazy. Did she just say she's far from lazy? Really? Of all the things, I mean, if she can't admit that she's lazy, she cannot admit anything about herself. She has zero self-awareness. Because think about what she does all week. Nothing. She does nothing. She could do all kinds of vlogs. She could do all kinds of things. She sits on her ass, eats, and looks at her phone all week. That's it. I mean, at least have a little bit of self-awareness just to go, you know what? I am lazy. Because here's the thing. You know what she could do? She could brag about that. She could say, yeah, I'm lazy and I still make a ton of money. So what's it to you? But she won't even do that. She has to pretend like she's some amazing person who's a hard worker, apparently. Shut up. That's so stupid. You are not a hard worker. You are maybe the laziest person on the internet.
Yeah, my private streams were a lot calmer. I will say that. Plus, I was in better health, like mental health back then.
I think that's code for more boring, because her members only lives, when only members could even watch them, were so boring. And really, it was just a way for her to get her narcissistic supply. It became just an ass-kissing show. And I started covering them kind of towards the beginning when I was able to sort of work my way in without paying for it. And even not having to pay to be a member to do it, I just couldn't anymore because it was too boring. And it was really annoying seeing how many people were in there just telling her how great she was and just believing all the bullshit she was saying.
Yeah, I am a BPD queen. I'm gonna stand by it. I'm not gonna feel ashamed anymore.
She said, I'm not going to feel ashamed anymore. Girl, you have shouted it from the rooftops for as long as you've known it existed. It's almost all you talk about is how you have BPD. You are proud to have BPD, which is really weird. For somebody who claims that it has such a stigma, you certainly wear it like a badge of honor. Almost as if you just love the attention you get and the sympathy you get by saying that you have BPD.
Alyssa, thank you for the super chat. And yeah, it is very apparent. I don't know why people have to like constantly say that I don't have something that is very obvious that I do.
And again, I don't doubt that she probably has some BPD. I just don't think she's been diagnosed. And I think the reason she hasn't been diagnosed is because this, where she just says, it's very apparent that I do, to her, it's obvious. She claims to have been diagnosed, but in her mind, she doesn't really need to get diagnosed. She just knows she has it. You know, I feel it. I can just tell. Just like Beck said, Amber would see symptoms or hear something that sounds like her, and she would just assume that she has it and run with it.
She never admitted to lying about a disorder, but I think that's because she genuinely believes that she has every single one that she says she has. She would self-diagnose constantly based on how she felt and a few Google searches.
And I think that's exactly what's happening with BPD.
They like to say things that I have been diagnosed with, I haven't been, and then things that I haven't been diagnosed with, they like to say that I have. It is the most exhausting.
Not really. There's only really one thing that we think that you should be diagnosed with, and that's narcissism. And maybe NPD, full stop. But you claim to have been diagnosed with basically everything. Throughout your life, you have claimed to be diagnosed with so much shit. So many disorders. Every disorder you can think of. The only one that I have not actually heard you explicitly say you were diagnosed with was DID. And of course, narcissism. And I'm sure there are others, but as far as like the big ones that are on the internet, I'm just amazed you haven't said that yet. But everything else you have claimed to have. So maybe if you didn't want people to second guess your diagnoses, maybe don't claim to have every single disorder known to man, almost. But again, the only one that I have ever said that she probably does have that she doesn't claim to have is narcissism.
Or as someone that's good at mirroring BPD behavior for a different motive. The thing is, I never knew really anything about BPD until I was diagnosed with it. The only thing I'd ever heard about it was when
And I don't think they're saying you are intentionally acting as though BPD is what's behind everything. I think what they're saying is narcissistic behavior and histrionic behavior and borderline behavior are all very similar, but The only difference really is the motivation behind it. So while you say it's abandonment issues and you're afraid to be abandoned, a narcissist probably wants control. And you're doing the exact same thing, but for different reasons. So what they're saying by mirroring BPD behavior is not necessarily that you have like consciously thought, I'm going to act like I have BPD, even though I'm a narcissist. They're just saying you are doing the same behavior that somebody with BPD would have, but you're doing it with a different motivation than what you claim. And you may not even realize you're doing it, because in your mind, the only thing that matters is just getting what you want, getting that control, getting the narcissistic supply or whatever. And so the motivation behind it really isn't even in your thought process. It's just do the thing that gets me what I want. And that's why it's very hard to diagnose personality disorders, because not only are they all very similar and the motivations can be kind of fuzzy, but you have to be honest. You have to be really, really honest with your therapist when you're talking about these things so that they can really decide what's going on. And that's why the funny thing is, narcissism on paper is really rare, but it's really not. It's just diagnosed rarely because narcissists tend to lie. They tend to not be honest with why they're doing what they're doing. And I think that's what's happening here.
Thing I'd ever heard about it was when people would randomly be like, "You have borderline personality disorder." Like people would message me and say that, and this was back in like 2019. And
I'm not sure that's true. I mean, maybe she probably got like one or two people saying, hey, the things that you're doing sound kind of like BPD, but I don't know, man.
that is when I was diagnosed with it, and I learned more about it. So that doesn't even make sense what you just said, but
Yeah, so it really is not an intentional thing that you're deciding to mirror BPD behavior. It's just they have similar behaviors. It's the motivation that differentiates them.
okay, pop off. Um, I'm convinced that the haters are jealous. I don't think that's what it is. I think they just are very miserable in their lives because happy people do not treat people like this, regardless.
that's that's always a go-to when a terrible person is being called out. They always say, "Oh, they're just miserable." DSP says the exact same thing about his detractors, that they're all just miserable people. They all live in their mom's basement and they have no lives, and all they can think of to do is make fun of me for no reason. But no, it's just fascinating that somebody can be so unself-aware, so narcissistic, and so detached from reality and so delusional, and just never change, and just get worse and worse over time. It is wild. That's why it's fun to talk about Amber, is because she is just a fascinating, horrible human being that refuses to change, refuses to do anything to help herself or to help anybody else. It is bizarre. I mean, if it makes you feel better to think that everybody's miserable, then okay. But I just find you fascinating because you just suck so bad.
For hate me or not, like if you're a happy person who loves your life and loves yourself, like you just genuinely do not sit around treating someone like this. And that's just like the psychology of it all.
That's the psychology of it all, you guys. She knows. She gets it. She's basically a psychologist at this point. She's an expert. She's Dr. Dunning-Kruger. Haven't you heard? I think if she was innocent, right? If she was just a normal person, then I would say maybe there was some merit to that. But I'm comfortable talking about her because she is just a horrible human being. A liar, a manipulator, a narcissist who refuses to admit she's a narcissist or even entertain the idea. So again, you're just fascinatingly terrible.
Like I called my mom earlier and she was like, "I'll take you to the hospital tonight." And I was like,
Now she says that. She's had all this whole live stream to mention that, right? She's talked about her leg. She's talked about going tomorrow. And people were like, probably not a great idea to make your mom miss work to take you to the emergency room. And of course, she was like, I'll do it after work. Again, it's like a 14 plus hour ordeal. And then now here at the end, she says, I called my mom earlier and she said I could take you tonight. No, you didn't. And no, she didn't. That didn't happen.
I feel bad because she has work tomorrow.
She made sure to mention that so that you know she's really thoughtful. She's really thinking about her mom.
So I was like, no, just take me after work tomorrow. I don't know.
No, just take me after work tomorrow. So that way you can be up until 4 in the morning the next night. You know.
What is Winnie the Poohing?
So a live stream she did, I don't know, recently.
Hold on, folks. I will be right back, and I'm not wearing pants, so we can't see that, okay?
That's what Winnie the Pooh does. He just wears a shirt and that's it. And that's what she was doing. Ew, think about her couch. Because think about her wiping situation. And then think about what happens when she sits on her couch with either nothing on down there or just some underwear. And how thin that would be. And how her couch must smell. Ugh.
What is Winnie the Poohing? Oh, no, I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing pants, folks. I'm wearing
Yeah, this time.
pants. Even if I wasn't wearing pants, when you wear a dress, you're technically not supposed to be wearing pants, and 9 times out of 10, I'm literally wearing a dress, so
It can be called a dress, but you're not wearing it as a dress. Almost every shirt she owns is a dress, but the way she wears it, it's just a shirt. So I don't think you have a loophole there, because if your shirt only goes down to like the bottom of your belly and everything below is showing, that's not a dress. That's not how that works.
it's your house, exactly.
Yeah, and it's her couch, her smelly, crusty couch. Gross.
But yeah, if you guys wanna see my pants, sure. Pants haul!
That is so weird.
See? Like, what the fuck? Pants tour. These are weird,
I don't think it's that weird when just a few streams ago you said you had no pants on. So why would it be weird for people to wonder if you have pants on or not? This is gaslighting. This is a great example of gaslighting. She says, I'm not wearing pants. Later on, somebody says, hey, are you wearing pants? And she goes, you guys are weird. Why are you asking? Why do you think they're asking? You're the one that said you don't wear pants when you stream.
we have weird folks up in here, folks. We have weird folks up in here, folks.
She was the one that wasn't wearing pants. She's the one that has commented about not wearing pants. But we're the weird ones for just mentioning it and talking about it. So Sugar Glider says, hot Cheetos can literally rot your stomach. So be careful. And she says this.
Oh my god, sugar glider, my stomach is rotted. My stomach is rotted. I'm never having another hot Cheeto in my life. I'm very disappointed by it.
Yeah, it's definitely rotted, you guys. She'll never have another hot Cheeto, I'm sure.
Because I bought a lot of hot Cheetos, okay? I bought a lot of hot Cheetos. You guys will never believe how many hot Cheetos I bought.
And she'll eat them all, I'm sure. If she didn't already, she might have just eaten them all. That's why her stomach hurts. Another interesting thing Sugar Glider says is, hey, so you told us you were born on substances, but Tammy said that wasn't true. And this person is right. Tammy pointed out that Mama Lynn had gotten clean when she had Amber. So Amber was not a substance baby.
Sister came from California to Florida to get off drugs. Did for a little bit, got pregnant. I was in the delivery room with your mom giving birth to you, literally. Joke about that today. And then shortly after that, you were a few months old and your mom chose drugs again.
But of course she wasn't. Amber loves to be the one to get the most sympathy. So she will have all the things that can get her whatever sympathy she can find.
I'm a drug baby, and I didn't find that out until about a year ago.
Are you a drug baby? My mom did drugs with me and her, yes.
And Tammy also made a comment on somebody's post, and she just confirmed that there were no substances in Amber's system when she was born. Because she even said they would have taken her away if that was the case, and they didn't for a while.
I'm not lazy catnip. I used to get up a lot during my live streams and people would get pissed off about it. So I literally sit here and hold my pee for you guys. So fuck you.
Oh, well then that means she's not lazy. Holding her pee. Man, what a hard worker. Shut up. She really thinks that proves she's not lazy. I'm not going to get up. I'm not going to make the effort to go pee. I'm going to sit on my ass, So obviously I'm not lazy. And then she really thinks she did something because then she does this. She is so dumb. I sit here and don't move. So obviously I'm not lazy. Like, God, what an idiot. So Amber was talking about maybe going on LolCow Live, and she's been kind of lurking in the LolCow Discord and kind of making comments and stuff. But I think what ended up happening was she thought she was going to start talking in the Discord and everybody was going to be like, oh, it's Amber, yay. But she got destroyed and everybody was clowning on her. And she, I think, was surprised by that. So she had been thinking about going on LolCow Live, but then this happened.
You're going on LolCow Live? I thought about it. I don't know. I'm rethinking my decision.
I'm rethinking my decision. I don't know why. A, it would require the most minuscule amount of effort to figure out how to, like, you know, make it happen, to get on Discord or Zoom or whatever they use and do a video call or whatever with Keemstar. She didn't want to take the time to figure that out. But also, turns out she'll probably get completely roasted. You know, I don't think people like her as much as she thought they did.
Because it's like, I was gonna go on LolCow Tech Talk, and it's like, they have such a good thing going. I don't even want to ruin it with one episode. So I think I might change my mind, and if I go on any, it might be LolCow Test. I'm gonna have to talk about it. I don't know.
She's not going to do any of that. She's never going to go on any show. She's never going to be a guest on anybody else's channel. It's just never going to happen. She's afraid of getting roasted. She can't hang with them. When they start calling her out or making fun of her, she can't dish it back in the moment. And she knows that. So she will never, ever, mark my words, she will never go on anybody else's show. If she does, I'll be flabbergasted. I'm not going to do anything because I really don't care. But I would be very, very surprised if she ever goes on anybody else's show.
I finally got to talk to your mama. That was so fun because I've never spoken to him before, not in a message, not in anything.
Didn't he do something to a cat, like kick a cat or something? That sounds like the kind of person she would like to spend time with. So I guess that tracks.
And we finally talked like over the phone. It was like through Discord, but it felt like over the phone. But there was like a bunch of other people there as well. But it was kind of cool. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm fangirling. No.
Ugh. Really? But there you go. That makes sense. Amberlynn would fangirl over Yo Mama for a couple reasons. Number one, he is apparently a cat abuser. And number two, he kisses her ass. As long as you kiss her ass, she will be a fangirl, you know?
I literally wipe like anyone else, you weirdo. Like, that's the people who ask questions like that, like, you have an obsession with fat people.
No, you have said yourself you struggle to wipe.
Wiping for me has always been extremely hard as a bigger girl, obviously. If you were bigger, my size, it's hard. When I was about to get my hysterectomy, that was a big thing for me that I was like, how am I going to be able to wipe myself because it's hard already?
This is gaslighting 101. Making them feel stupid for asking when you have said it's hard to wipe at your size. She is insufferable.
That's why I'm like really shocked that those people who took a picture of me didn't do it while I was walking right next to them because I had to walk right in front of them to get to the bathroom.
Well, it would have been pretty obvious as you're walking to go, you know, with your phone. I think that it was sort of a covert operation. It's a lot easier to get a picture of you from across the room without you noticing.
Many people with BPD can also present with NPD specific traits. Yes, not all to the level which a NPD diagnosis is appropriate. Correct. Despite not qualifying for NPD, do you believe you have some NPD traits? Tasha, thank you for the super chat and thank you for actually asking that in a very nice way. And yes, that is something I've always talked about is I do have some narcissistic personality traits. And it's weird because those very traits that I have that I've always felt were narcissistic, what made me question, like, oh my God, am I narcissistic? They're the ones that coincide with borderline personality disorder.
Well, yes, that makes sense. And that's what that person was saying earlier about mirroring BPD behavior is the same kind of behavior that is pretty narcissistic also sort of seems like BPD behavior, but it's the motivation behind it that differentiates the two. But there are a lot of things you do that you will not admit are narcissistic. So, I mean, at least she kind of, sort of said, I do have some narcissistic traits, but then she couches it in being like, but it really turns out it's mostly BPD. So I can see how you would mistake my behavior for narcissism, but it actually supports my theory that I have BPD, if you think about it. So there's not much left. She pretty much just calls it quits there. And she really is about as smug as somebody can get, especially for somebody who doesn't do anything. You know, somebody who has no life to speak of is awfully smug and insufferable. And I am just amazed that she can just experience all of this drama and all these people talking about her and kind of spilling the tea and never once question, could she be the problem? Just doesn't even enter her mind. Because if it did, she wouldn't turn out to be worse after all that happened. You know what I mean? So who knows when she will live stream again? According to her, it could be anytime or never. Who knows? Anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.